In this lesson, student will be able to know about the basics of HTML5. Learning objectives. After the completion of this lesson, you will be able to understand how the web works, introduction to HTML5, and HTML5 in details. How the web works. The following figure shows how the web works using client or server architecture. To view or read the World Wide Web pages, there must have a special application such as a web browser. To distribute and convey data on the web, there is a need of web server. A technical definition of a web browser is a client program that uses the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP, to make requests of web servers throughout the Internet on behalf of the browser user and then displays web pages by interpreting the HTML that is used to build these pages on the web. What is a web page? Web pages or web documents are described by HTML. The HTML markup tags describe information about the structure of the page content. Each HTML tag describes different document content. Creating HTML pages. An HTML file must have an .htm or .html file extension. Both HTML and HTML are exactly the same and will work in the same way. HTML files can be made with various types of text editors such as HTML5 is a core innovation markup language of the Internet used for organizing and exhibiting content for the World Wide Web. It represents the structure and content of documents and exhibit in web browsers. HTML5 is a joint effort between the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, and the Web Hypertext Application Technology Working Group, WHATWG. Some principles for HTML5 were set up such as new elements ought to be based on HTML, CSS, cascading style sheets, DOM, document object model, and JavaScript. Reduce the requirement from outside plugins. Support for better error handling. More markup for substitute scripting. HTML5 should be device independent. Some of the most interesting new features in HTML5 such as Canvas element, video and audio elements, new content-specific elements, new form controls. HTML5 introduces 28 new elements such as updated feature like an HTML5 page first starts with the doc type declaration. HTML structure. HTML5 is comprised of elements and tags, begin with and ends with. Elements tags are nested one inside another such as start with, HTML5 describes structure using two main sections such as head and body. The HTML5 source code should be formatted to amplify understandability and meaningfulness. In the following HTML5 example, HTML5 document named as first.html. Click at the Output button to display the output. It displays the message Welcome to HTML5 in the browser. Document Type Declaration (Doc Type). The HTML documents must start with the Document Type Definition (DTD). The doc type tells the browser which type and version of document to expect. This should be the last time the doc type is ever changed. From now on, all future versions of HTML will use this same simplified declaration. Comments can exist anywhere between the HTML start tag and HTML end tag. Comments start with and end with. It is used to describe the content of a document which can help to edit the source code at a later date. The browser ignores comments when document is provided. Start tags and end tags. An HTML element consists of a start tag, an end tag, and the content inside. Start tag, element name in angle brackets. For example, end tag, element name preceded by a / in angle brackets. For example, the begin tag is also known as the opening tag. The end tag is also known as the closing tag. The head element is a container for all the head elements. The head element can include a title for the document, scripts, styles, meta information, and more. The elements can go inside the head element are title, style, base, link, meta, script, and no script. Metadata is data that provides information about other data. The meta tag gives metadata about the HTML5 document. Metadata won't be shown on the page, yet will be machine parsable. Meta components are normally used to indicate page description, keywords, creator of the report, last change, and so forth. In this example, the head section contains information about the HTML5 document, such as the character set. UTF-8 stands for Unicode Transformation Format. The 8 means it uses 8-bit blocks to represent a character. UTF-8 is the most popular character encoding scheme for the web. The metadata can be used by browsers. For example, how to show content or reload page. It can be used by search engines or other web services. Search engines are programs that look archives for determined keywords and gives back a list of the documents where the keywords were found. Title element. The HTML title element defines the title of the document. Shown in a browser's title bar or on the Pages tab. It can only contain text. It is located inside the head element and it defines title of a web page. Search engines use the title for indexing purposes when displaying results. The body tag creates the body section of the document, which contains the actual visible content of the document. The body element is the second of the two elements making up the inner HTML of the top HTML element. following the head end tag for the head element, which is the first element in the top HTML element inner HTML. The body tag is one of the structure tags in HTML. The body element contains all the contents of an HTML document, such as text, hyperlinks, images, tables, lists, etc. HTML5 paragraph tags are used to define the HTML5 paragraph element. The paragraph element begins with the HTML p tag and ends with the HTML p tag. All text placed between the opening p and the closing p tags forms one paragraph. The HTML paragraph element should not contain tables and other block elements. Headings are defined with the H1 to H6 elements in HTML. Heading element H1 being the most important heading on the page and is rendered in the largest font. Each progressive heading component, for example, H2, H3, H4, and so on, is rendered in a step-by-step smaller text style. Heading H6 defines the least important heading. Headings are important as web browsers interpret the headings as the structure of the web page. Therefore, headings should only be used for actual headings and not for making text bold or large. Besides then structuring the web page, headings also increases the readability of the web pages. Click at the Output button to display the output. Displays the output of heading elements from H1 to H6. A link is a text or an image that user can click on and jump to another document. Links are created using the A or anchor element, and the P element represents a paragraph. Attribute href or hypertext reference specifies a resource's location such as web page, file, and email address. When URL does not indicate a specific web page, the web server returns a default web page or index.html. If web server cannot locate a requested document, it returns an error indication or 404 error in an error web page. Click at the Output button to display the output. Click to open either web page. The anchor element, A, can be used to create email links or mail to links. Click at the Output button to display the output. The Mail to link, when clicked, opens user's default email program or software. A new email page is created with two fields containing the address of the name specified on the link by default, and enable the user to write an email message to the linked address. The HTML5 img tag is used to put an image in an HTML5 document. The most popular image formats used by web developers nowadays are Portable Network Graphics, or PNG, and Joint Photographic Experts Group, or JPEG. The img elements src attribute specifies an image's location. Every img element must have an ALT attribute. ALT stands for alternate text. This tells the browser that if it can't find the image, then just display this text. The ALT attribute makes web pages more accessible to users with disabilities, especially vision impairments. Always include the width and height of a photo or picture in the img tag so that when the program loads HTML5 file, it knows the required screen space for the photo or picture. Width and height are optional attributes. If omitted, the browser uses the actual width and height of the picture or image. Pixels are the measurement units of pictures or images. Click at the Output button to display the output. Display the input image in HTML5 document. Using image as hyperlink. By using images as hyperlinks, we can create graphical web pages that link to other resources. To add a link, the ahref and closing tag A are used. These tags bracket a portion of text or an image which will serve as a hyperlink, with the href attribute identifying the destination URL. In this example, the hyperlink starts with an anchor opening tag A and includes a hyperlink reference, href http www.mmu.edu.my to the URL for the page. The URL is followed by marking the end of the anchor opening tag. When run these HTML codes, it displays an image in the browser. Once click on the image, it will open the web page followed by the given hyperlink reference. Click at the Output button to display the output. Display the input image in HTML5 document. Text formatting tags modify the text between the opening tag and the closing tag. HTML5 uses elements like B and I for formatting output, like bold or italic text. Similarly, opening U, closing U, the text in between the tags will be underlined. SUP specifies superscripted text. SUB specifies subscripted text. Strong defines important text. EM used to emphasize text which usually appears in italics. Pre, any text between the pre-tags, including spaces, carriage returns and punctuation, will appear in the browser as it would in a text editor. Normally, browsers ignore multiple spaces. The block quote tag specifies a section that is quoted from another source. Block quote defines a long quotation, and the quote is displayed with an extra wide margin on the left-hand side of the block quote. NDEL defines deleted text. The following example shows the text formatting page using the formatting elements such as normal, bold, italic, underline, superscripted, and subscripted. Click at the Output button to display the output. Displays the output of text formatting using the formatting elements. The following example shows the text formatting page using the formatting elements such as emphasized, pre, block quote, and delete. Click at the Output button to display the output. Displays the output of text formatting page. There are two types of lists: ordered lists, OL, and unordered lists, UL. Both lists contain list item LI. The HTML LI element or HTML list item element is used to represent an item in a list. It must be contained in a parent element. An ordered list, OL, and an ordered list, UL. Creating an ordered list using OL tag. The HTML OL element or HTML ordered list element represents an ordered list of items. Typically, ordered list items are displayed with the preceding number, which can be of any form, like numerals, letters, or Roman numerals, or even simple bullets. In this example, attribute finds that the list items will be numbered with numbers. Type uppercase A defines that the list items will be numbered with uppercase letters. Type lowercase a defines that the list items will be numbered with lowercase letters. Type uppercase I defines that the list items will be numbered with uppercase Roman numbers, and type lowercase I defines that the list items will be numbered with lowercase Roman numbers. Creating an unordered list using UL tag. The HTML UL element, or HTML unordered list element, represents an unordered list of items, namely a collection of items that do not have a numerical ordering, and their order in the list is meaningless. Typically, unordered list items are displayed with a bullet, which can be of several forms, like a dot, a circle, or a squared. In this example attribute, type disk defines that the list items will be marked with bullets. Type circle defines that the list items will be marked with circles, and type square defines that the list items will be marked with squares. The following example illustrated that there are two types of lists: ordered lists and unordered lists. Ordered list which used OL tag and unordered list which used UL. Both lists contain list item which has been used the LI tag. The output of the unordered list and ordered list are also shown here for the better understanding of the list concepts of HTML5. Click at the Output button to display the output. The output of the unordered list and ordered list are shown here. Many mathematical, technical, and currency symbols are not present on a normal keyboard. To add these symbols to an HTML5 page, we can use an HTML5 entity name. In other words, HTML5 entities codes can be placed in source code like any other alphanumeric characters to produce special characters and symbols that cannot be generated in HTML5 with normal keyboard commands. Some useful HTML5 character entities with their symbols and names are shown in the table. Tables represent tabular data. A table contains one or more rows. Every row consists of one or several columns. Tables contain a number of several core tags, such as begin and end the table, the caption element used to specify a table's title. It must be the first element after the opening table tag. Create a table row. Create tabular data or cell. The following example illustrates the several core table tags and displays the information of rows and columns with the title of the table. Inside the table tag are TR or table row tags, which in turn contain TD or table cell tags. Data goes in the TD cell. That data can be content, different labels, other tags, or whatever. Keep in mind that first comes table, then TR, then TD, then and only then data. Click at the Output button to display the output. The output of the information of rows and columns with the title of the table are shown here. Table rows split into three semantic sections: header, body, and footer. T-head denotes table header and contains TH elements instead of TD elements. T-body means accumulation of table rows that contain the varied data. T-foot indicates table footer however goes before the T-body tag. Col group and col define columns, most often used to set columns width. The following example shows the use of table rows which has split it into 3 sections such as header, body, and footer. At the beginning of this example, define the style for table definition where the border has defined as 1 pixel, solid and black color. The column's style has defined the width, 80 pixel. T-head denotes the table headers as column 1 and column 2. T-foot denotes the table footers as footer 1 and footer 2. Click at the Output button to display the output. The following figure displays the output from this example, which has presented in the desired form by the rows, columns, headers, and footers. A table is divided into rows, and each row is divided into cells. Cells have 2 attributes related to merging, such as col span and row span. The col span defines how many columns the cell occupies. On the other words, it defines the number of columns a cell should merge horizontally. The row span defines how many rows the cell occupies. In other words, it specifies the number of rows a cell should merge vertically. Click at the Output button to display the output. The following figure displays the output from the example given here, which has presented the concept of col span. Click at the Output button to display the output. The following figure displays the output from the example given here, which has presented the concept of row span. HTML5 form. HTML5 provides forms for collecting information from users. The form element defines an HTML5 form. In the following example, the method attribute tells how the form data should be sent via GET or POST request. On the other hand, the action attribute tells where the form data should be sent. The method either GET or POST specifies how the form's data is sent to the web server. In the POST method, it sends the form data securely to the server within the message body. Data sent are not visible in the URL. In the GET method, it sends the form data by including it in the URL. Data sent are displayed in the URL. In the following example, the method attribute tells that the form data should be sent via POST request. The action attribute tells the browser what to do when the Submit button is clicked. Here, the action attribute specifies in the login_page.php script where the form data will be sent. Next, the 2 lines in example. Their 2 hidden input elements are defined. It should be mentioned here that a hidden field lets programmer to collect name and value information that the user cannot see along with the rest of the form data. Hidden fields are useful for keeping track of information associated with the form, such as its version or name. Click at the Output button to display the output. In this example, the text input element inserts a text field into the form, which allows the user to input data. Here, the name attribute is used to specify the internal name of the text field, and the value attribute defines what will appear in the text field as the default value. Click at the Output button to display the output. In this example, the password input element inserts a password box into a form. The browser displays a series of asterisks or bullets when user enter the sensitive information. The actual value input is sent to the web server, not the asterisks that mask the input. Name attribute specifies the internal name of the password. Size attribute defines the width of the field. Max length attribute limits the number of characters input into the field. It is suggested that when a password is used, the form method should set to post. Click at the Output button to display the output. In this example, there are two important elements are used, such as the submit and reset input elements. The submit input element is a button. When the submit button is pressed, the form's data is sent to the location specified in the form's action attribute. The value attribute sets the text displayed on the button. On the other hand, the reset input element allows a user to reset all form elements to their default values. Click at the Output button to display the output.